All right, good afternoon, listeners. You're listening to Lament of Hope blog and podcast, and I'm really excited today. I'm getting to speak with Máiréad Nesbitt. I was actually just telling her that I have been a fan of her music since I was a kid, and I didn't mean to make her feel old because she still looks young, but um, she is she was with Celtic Women for a very long time, as many of you know, but she has a pretty successful solo career now. And she actually just finished some performances with a former Celtic woman who was on the show several months ago, Alex Sharp, in Utah. And I think, Máiréad, I think you said I saw somewhere, or Neil mentioned to me that you have another one coming up in December with her.
Hi, first of all, it's great to be on with you. Lovely to be talking to you. Thank you so much for having me on your great show. And yes, I've been working a lot with Alex Sharp. She's a former Celtic woman. And the last time we were on stage together was 2015.
Wow.
So it's really great to get to do a few concerts with Alex again. And we just finished three big shows in Utah, and we're back again at the end of August in Utah in Salt Lake. So we can't wait to do two concerts there and then one concert in Tampa, Florida as well at the end of the month. So it's actually quite busy. And we're getting to collaborate again together and getting to relive some Celtic Woman numbers that you might know and love, and also our original music and music from my new show Celtic Spells as well. So I'm really excited, and I'm just lots of people have been asking me about tickets, and they should go to my website máiréadnesbitt.com and go to live dates, and everything is there. And I just hope to meet everybody. It's so nice to kind of meet up with everybody afterwards and everything. So we do meet and greets and everything. So it is very nice.
Well, I was going to ask you because you travel so much. Do you like how do you rest? Because I'm guessing, I mean, it must be hard to turn off because I see you do your social media and you're doing
Yeah.
a whole bunch of different things to keep people engaged and to do your cameos and all these different things. How do you kind of rest and reset so that you can kind of do the best you can with all the performances? Because to me, when I'm seeing that, I'm like, I don't know how she does all that. It sounds so stressful, so much to juggle.
Yeah, I mean that's a really, really good point. There was a point, I think about 2 years ago, after the pandemic and everything was over, because that was such a stressful time for everybody, especially for artists and the music industry, and just being so worried and stressed about everything. Um, that I started getting a little bit overwhelmed with keeping up with social media, and also
Mm.
and keeping up with my practice, because the first and foremost, Danielle, the first and foremost for me is the music, and it is really important to me. It is the most important thing. It's the thing that connects people, and I know people see the visual, and the visual is very important. um, but the music, the visual almost is a vehicle for the very important music that connects people's souls almost, And
Mm.
um, so to that end, I have help with my social media, which is absolutely fantastic. And also um, um, I'm really delighted that I have my own violin line as well, and that's been a joy to me. And I suppose, you know what, to answer your question, I don't sleep that much. Um, but I do try, and even if I don't, I do try and I suppose if I can't sleep very much, I try and put on a good channel of music, relaxing music at night, and try and close my eyes and rest and try and recharge for concerts that are coming up, because that's the most important thing. And as you know, they are very mental and very physical for me.
Yeah.
And it's you have to be as fit as you can be, I'd love to say, oh, I do my yoga every morning and I exercise and this kind of thing. And I usually do a good routine every morning, but I have been slacking off in the last few days. So and funnily enough, you do feel that, and it kind of translates into your physical health and obviously your mental health, and of course that translates into your music. So it's really important to look after yourself as best you can. And as you rightly said, there's so much travel, so it is hard.
Well, you did mention that's interesting. You said the music is the main thing, so making sure I practice.
Yeah.
Like, are you practicing still? Because I know you probably said this in several interviews before, but is it like 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours a day?
I don't get to practice 3 and 4 hours a day, but actually 2 hours really go very fast when you're practicing for something. So what I tend to do actually is when I have a concert coming up, I concentrate on that particular set list.
Okay.
It might be with somebody, a collaboration with somebody. It might be my solo concerts, which are very easy because I know my own music. I've composed most of it. Um, but still, they have to be under your fingers. They're a lot of it is very, 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 very fast. And when you're moving as well, it has to be as precise and correct as it can be. And so from that point of view, I do practice, kind of the little bit difficult thing about collaborating with a few different people at once, in separate concerts, is that you have to do these multiple set lists. And
Yeah.
you have to find time to practice them all because they all could be quite different. And so that's a little challenge, but I would say I more realistically, if I get to practice, it would be 2 hours daily. When I'm coming up to my concert and that kind of thing, because there's so much else to do as well. I produce my concerts. I do so much other things, and helping the venue to get it all out in social media and everything. So it can be challenging for sure.
Wow. So, like, how many hours do you sleep?
Well, I'm terrible because I go to bed very late. I can't help it. I just love staying up late, and so I would probably go to bed at 1:30 a.m. and
Wow.
then I mightn't sleep for a few hours, or I might. you know. And then if I do, I would, get up in the morning then and try and wake myself up, and do a routine that'll help my body and help my mind, and just try and keep going.
Do you find that your routine now is harder than it was when you were with Celtic Women?
Um, I think it's easier because
Okay.
yeah, because with Celtic Woman and the other tours I've been on, um, you're traveling so much, and you're you're in a bubble, and you're trying to get the various things done, and you mightn't get to eat well, you mightn't get to exercise well. You have sound checks, you have different things going on. um But the pro side of all that, when you're on another tour that's not your own, is that you you kind of fly into that tour, and you basically relinquish all control, which is can be good in one way, and you do as much as you can to keep yourself going. Whereas when you're
Yeah.
doing your own tour, and my own show, Celtic Spells, there's so many other things that you have to think of too, and you have to think of
Yeah.
other people. But I'm very lucky. I have a great manager, a great agent, and great tour manager. So, but still, even at that, there's a lot to manage. So when you're on someone else's tour, you kind of go into that tour and everything is done for you,
Yeah.
more or less, you know what I mean? And you just have to kind of, so from that point of view, it was easier. And but kind of now I'm able to get into my own routine, I suppose. So that's nice. And so that makes it a little bit easier too.
Well, do you, with the music that you have, is there a particular song that you've played over the years, like one you've written or just one that you've played in general that you think fits your personality? Like when you play it, you feel like this is me. Like if someone was to make music about me, this really describes who I am as a person.
Yeah. Well, I wrote a tune with the then composer of Celtic Woman, David Downs, called Gráinne Whale's Dance. And I wrote that about the pirate Gráinne Whale, Grace O'Malley, who's a real person. And and she was very fiery and very now I am not as fiery as her. But I am an Arian, I'm Aries. So they're known to be quite fiery. Um but I think I like getting things done. I like having fun. I work very, very hard. Um but I think once you unleash on stage, that's probably the tune or the piece that really personifies me very well, because it starts off kind of, mid-tempo with a slip jig. It's kind of dreamy, it's kind of feminine dance like, and then it goes into bang, it goes into Gráinne Whale's Dance, and it's a pretty fiery reel. I think you'd know it well to hear it. If you know the Celtic Woman music. And so it's one of the numbers I wrote for Celtic Woman that I love, and the other one that I love is Butterfly. And
Yes, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful one.
is that one of your favorites?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, I
I
love
remember when we were young, it was like, because you're actually one of the reasons I started practicing violin. And I
it.
remember we trying to play that, and I was so frustrated because it was just like I had no idea how you did it. It was so fast.
Yeah, I mean the first bit is dreamy again. Like I love that kind of starting off and bringing people in easy, with
Mhm.
the lovely slide and the bum 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 bum. Actually, I have my fiddle. Will I play my fiddle a little bit?
Sure, yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
I have my fiddle here. I'll just demonstrate to people what I mean. Um, I just had this out here because I was playing a little bit earlier on as well. So everyone will know this. It's like a kind of an iconic kind of slide on the first finger, and you're a violinist, so you'll know all about this. So, you know, and so it's really, really nice kind of effect, and it's dreamy,
Yeah,
and I think people really, really liked that. And especially violinists, they went, oh, I love the way you slide that finger there on the start of the butterfly. And then of course it goes into the fast reel, and it is very fast. You're right, you're right. So I just wanted to demonstrate that there. So I think that that's another piece that personifies me as well a little bit. I kind of don't like to kind of hit someone between the two eyes with something, but I like kind of preparing them a little bit and just going, no, go in nice and gently and just kind of just and then liven it up a bit.
I was gonna say, because I've wondered, because your music is a niche, right? Every
Mm.
musician does have a niche, and you kind of embrace that and run with it. But has it ever been discouraging to you? Or did you ever face a point where you really wanted to hit, like, I want so many people to hear this music, and I would like to be able to do, really big things on my own, apart from Celtic Women? Was it,
Yeah.
as you've done your solo career, have you kind of had to adjust based on, okay, well, this is the music I do, and this is the fan base that'll probably like it? Because I know for me, even, being in the social media world, there's so much competition and people seem to be doing so much better at it. And there's always something new you could be doing to make it better. But
Yeah.
then you kind of have to decide, okay, well, if I do that, I'm going to kind of lose who I am. Like, that's not really what I do. But that might get more people to listen or, be involved. For
Yeah.
you, like, how have you worked that out through your solo career?
Look, the most important thing you can do is be genuine to yourself and to other people. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel kind of a bit sorry for younger people who have had to who feel that they first of all have to get the views, they have to get this, they have to get that, they have to get so many followers, they have to get this, that. And of course, we all want that. Um, but it's not, if you don't, there's always going to be somebody who gets more followers than you, loads of people. And
Yeah.
yeah, who cares? I've never cared about that actually. I put a lot of work into it, but I haven't I just do what I can and inspire as many people as I can. And and I know I can take comfort in the fact that, if ever I feel a little bit like that, and which is pretty rare actually, because I don't really feed into that. Um,
Yeah, that's good.
I was working with, of course, Lindsay Sterling, and we worked together on Harmonious Live for Disney, and it was on Disney Plus for the new show to Epcot. And it was just the most marvelous experience. And we've always wanted to do something together. And um, my very first time meeting Lindsay was down at Disney when we did that performance. And um, we did an interview with Idina Menzel beforehand, and it went on television, and it was really beautiful. I didn't know what I was going to say. She didn't know what she was going to say, but it was just so lovely. The first thing she said, the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "I just want to say that I've been so inspired by Máiréad Nesbitt. I everything about her and she was just so generous in what she said. It's on YouTube, I think. I think the interview's there, yeah. But it was just such a beautiful thing for her to do for me. Um, because it it just made me so warm, made me feel so warm. And you know, when it's kind of rare that people do acknowledge you as their influence. They're a little bit afraid to do that because they want to keep it for themselves, and they go, "Oh no, that was me. That was my idea."
Yeah.
Um, and I get that. But I come from a very, very, very musical family, and I'm very used to giving other people the credit. Um,
Yeah.
like my mother, my sister, all the women who have come before me, all the musicians who have come before me, all the musicians I still learn from and listen to. And that was so gorgeous of Lindsay to say that, and so generous and so lovely. I mean, it's quite a rare thing. So from that point of view, when you have one of the most known fiddle players in the world saying that about you, it kind of really brings it home to you that, gosh, that's really beautiful. It's so, I was so surprised. I nearly fainted. And actually she gave me the mic, and I was like, uh, uh, oh, right back at you. And I just didn't know what to say. I was just so shocked. But
Yeah.
her
Wow.
kindness just overwhelming. And yeah, so from that point of view, I know what you mean. It can be a thing, everybody goes through it. Um, I think, and the main thing is to ignore it, you know.
Yeah.
The main thing is to ignore that doubt and ignore the fact that, oh, such and such a person has X amount of hundreds of thousands of followers and X amount of million this and that. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a musician. If people want to follow me, they can, and if they don't have to. I think what people don't really know about me, and I suppose in general, is that I play different types of music. I don't just play Celtic music or Irish music. I play rock, I play jazz, classical. Um, but you're absolutely right. I became well known for the style that's most genuine to me, and how I grew up. And I've no problem with that. I'm honored, and I get that from my parents and my family.
Do you, you know, what do you think? Because I've wondered, do you have like a personal life apart from your music, or for you has it become so intertwined because it is your, I mean, it sounds like to me like it's almost your life. Like this is what you do and you love and you want to inspire people
Yeah.
and always stuff you've got to be doing. Have you been able to find a balance there, or for you is it kind of blended together?
Um, I've been able to find a balance. My husband is in the industry, and I'm a very private person. I don't put anything about really anything about my family online too much, just kind of real general stuff. Um, and I get home to Ireland a lot to see my parents and my brothers. I've got four brothers and a sister, and we play music together all the time when we're at home with our parents. And um you know I guess with my husband in the business as well, he's not a musician, but he understands the difficulty of
Yeah.
getting everything done, and that kind of thing. So I think we have a good balance, and especially after, the music industry got such a hit, with what the years of the pandemic and that kind of thing. Um, we're just happy to be coming back, and um, being able to do a bit more work and collaborating with different people and just being social again. It's just so nice, And so we do have a nice balance. We live in a beautiful area, and it's I'm surrounded by nature. Nature is very important to me. It's very healing.
Mm.
Most of my friends, who even my musician friends as well, find it very, very important as well. So from that point of view, I have kind of a very, I suppose, a good balance. Uh, I try and keep myself like very balanced mentally and physically. And I might be a bit lazy the odd time with the physical aspect, but I try.
I think everybody is. What do you love about nature? It's interesting you brought that up because when I was speaking to Orla Fallon, she was on the show, I don't know, maybe
Oh,
2 months ago or so. She said, I love gardens. I have a garden, and the garden to me is just like inspirational, and it's something, like you said, it's healing. It's
yeah.
encouraging to her. What's something in nature you really enjoy?
First of all, Orla is one of my most favorite people.
She's
And
really sweet.
oh my gosh, and Alex as well. So you've hit the nail on the head with those beautiful women. Um, I love everything got to do with nature. I love bird song in the morning,
Me too. Yeah.
and just going for walks. I walk a lot, and I'm lucky to be, in a beautiful spot that I can do that. And of course, when I go home to Ireland as well, I
Hmm.
walk a lot in Ireland, and I love the seaside. I love the sea. I love being by the ocean, and I just love the sound. I love the smells. Um, it's just very, very important to me. It's very healing, as you say.
Yeah. No, the seaside, it's beautiful there. I think you did one of your what's his name? It was,
Tim, was it
yes. Yeah, the
Tim
video
Jones?
with you guys on the, yes, on the sea. It was beautiful.
Yeah, he's another one of my most favorite people, Tim and Elizabeth, and they are absolutely amazing. And we've started another fresh collaboration actually up the Rocky Mountains. Um, so it's literally stories and music from the Rocky Mountains of collaborations because um, it's just been amazing and we hope that it'll get to people soon. It'll be really really nice. But basically, the whole premise is the Tiny Desk concerts on NPR. I don't know if you've seen any of them. They're quite amazing, but they're really small. You know,
Yeah.
small little concerts, yeah, and then the desk is there, and so we have done some sessions up the Rocky Mountains and
Wow.
stories and with local people and different stories from Ireland and then different stories from Tim's point of view, and so it's been a beautiful collaboration. But yes, I remember that was we were really cold. we were we
I
were
bet it.
when we did that video, but it was really, really wonderful. It was wonderful. I did another video with the Harp Twins actually for Tim. Um, and that was wonderful too. They're amazing too. Amazing, amazing women.
Yeah, so for people who are listening and watching this, there is so much music Máiréad has. You have to look at her website and her Instagram. Your Instagram, I gotta say, for somebody, doing it years is really good. I re because it's always like current and you always have this new stuff coming on and new music.
Yeah.
It, yeah, kudos to you for that because it's really
Well,
good.
thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I have to say a big shout out to Tiffany Moore for helping me with my socials and my Instagram. And actually my TikTok has been quite good, really, really good, better than my
Look at that.
Instagram. I know I'm shocked really. And do you know what, Danielle? I was just for the fun of it, I went on live every night on TikTok there last month, and I said, "Look, guys, I'm just practicing my set list. I'm doing some concerts with Alex Sharp coming up in Utah and different things coming up, and I just want you to tell me what you like." And I couldn't even see the comments because they were just going in so fast. I couldn't even read them.
Oh,
And I was just
wow.
playing away and talking away, and you know, with thousands and thousands of people watching every night. And it's just so cool. I mean, again, it wasn't much thought put into that. It was just warts and all. It was just playing in front of the phone, and saying hi to people and that kind of thing. And of course my Facebook is probably the best one, but I think it's helpful to have healthy social media accounts, I guess, and but thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that about my Instagram and stuff. Thank you.
Well, do you, oh, it was just on the tip of my tongue. I was gonna say, when you were mentioning, just to go back to the nature and the Rocky Mountains, is there a place you haven't? I know you've traveled so much, so I don't know if there's even a place you haven't been, but is there like a natural site you'd love to see and visit?
Um, I do love the Rocky Mountains. It's really beautiful up there. It really is. I love going to Ireland. Anywhere where you go in Ireland, it's very close to nature, as you know, and you could go anywhere and literally a walk down the road and you're immersed in nature. Um, and I guess one of my favorite venues, I suppose, would be Red Rocks in Colorado, because
Hmm.
it's very awe-inspiring. It's a natural amphitheater, and it's very um, humbling or something,
Hmm.
you know. And you go out and you're literally just your jaw drops, and you're on stage and you're okay, I have to play now. But you're looking around and you see all these giants of red, huge rocks. I mean, they're the size of cities, some of them, and it's just you're just looking at it and it's just incredible. So you do have some amazing venues that embrace the whole nature element. And I love that about the Rocky Mountains too. And just mountains in general, they're amazing. Actually, we as kids we used to climb this mountain called the Devil's Bit, and it's an interesting story. I mean, the myth behind it is, I don't know if you know the Rock of Cashel, which is a real building. It's really stunning. It's beautiful. It's in Cashel in County Tipperary, Ireland, and it's the last remaining seat of the High Kings of Ireland. And
Wow.
it's it's truly amazing. But the myth behind the devil's bit is that the devil flew over the mountain, took a bite out of the mountain, and spat it out in Cashel and created the Rock of Cashel. Of course, that's not true, but it's a good story. And and we used to, climb the Devil's Bit as kids, and I still do actually. Anytime we're home, we try it.
Oh,
And
wow. So you
yeah,
like rock climbing too?
well, I don't like it, but I wouldn't say I love it now. But it's again, it's nature and it's kind of awe-inspiring. And when you get up, there's a massive, huge cross on the top, and it's huge, huge, huge. And you're looking up at it, going, wow. And then you look down in the valleys, and there's a grotto with Mary, down in down in the valley, and it's just quite amazing. You're looking around at all these beautiful things, and of course nature and the mist and the views, and so it's a wonderful mountain to do if you're in Ireland.
It sounds beautiful. Yeah. What is very beautiful about life to you? Because I mean, you've seen a lot of things, you've met a lot of people, you've experienced a lot of things. What do you think, say your music is definitely a contributor. Is there anything else that you find super beautiful about life that you just really enjoy?
Yeah, it's such a good question. Well, I music for me is like breathing and eating and walking.
Mm,
It's part of my soul, you know, and it comes from my family. I don't take any of the credit for it at all. It comes from my family, which came from their family before them, their family before them. It's all kind of handed down. And I think that's really beautiful. The fact that some of the music I play is so ancient and handed down that it's it, it's quite unbelievable that that's actually happening, because think
yeah.
about it, like back 200 years ago, 500 years ago, thousands of years ago, if there was a tune going round, like 1,000 years ago, or let's say 500 years ago, there's no phones to record them. There's no nothing to record anything. And I remember my dad saying that to me. Um, he said, we'd walk down to the village, and I'd hear this tune from an old musician down there, and I'd have to sing it back to myself over and over and over and over and over again, walking home, so that I'd learn it, so that I
Mm,
could play it, you know? And all that music, imagine thousands and thousands upon thousands of thousands and thousands of tunes handed down in that way.
yeah.
It, it's quite unbelievable. And to me, that's really incredible that we're so honored to have that legacy, handed down. And
Well,
that
because you're telling stories while you
yeah.
play music.
Yeah, I try, and even, a lot of the music I play is instrumental, and even at that, you can make your own story from it. And sometimes a story comes from the heading, sometimes a story um comes from, for instance, there's a beautiful slow air called Sean O'Dear on Glana, and it means that's the Irish for John Dwyer of the Glen. And John Dwyer, and this is so old, it's hundreds of years old, this tune. And it's the most beautiful, beautiful tune. I play it actually on my Hibernia album and in my concerts. And it's a slow air, and I walk out into the audience playing it. And it's about um, nature and about the indigenous trees being cut down for battleships.
Hmm.
That's exactly what it's about. And he was so upset about it. He wrote this beautiful tune and song. There are words to it in Irish, and you can translate it into English, but I play the instrumental and I explain it to people and they're so immersed, you know? They really
Wow.
are.
Is it like a lament for the trees kind of thing?
Yeah, it's almost like a lament. Yeah, it's a lament for the trees and for the environment. And
Yeah.
that all of these, even back then, all of these trees are being cut down for war, you know, and for that kind of, for battleships and that kind of thing. And it's but it's the most stunningly beautiful air. It really, really is. And I actually played it recently at a concert I did in Cape Cod. I did a series of concerts. Sorry, I didn't do a series of concerts. I started the series of concerts. I played the first one and I played it there and I explained to everybody, and it was amazing because everybody, it was on the beach. It was free. It was a free performance. It's called Beyond the Bounds, and the series of concerts isn't over yet. And actually, I started the series of concerts and Yo-Yo Ma is ending them.
Oh,
So
wow.
I know so I was honored to play. So it people are just so close to nature there and the sea and everything, and so they loved the idea of this tune being so ancient, but still, recognizing how important the environment is.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it still resonates.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really, really neat. You know, I think it's something I love about Irish culture too, is that there's a deep respect and love for the past and translated into song and music. And I don't know if many, because I don't want to make such a broad statement, but I don't know in my experience if many cultures prize their heritage and their past so passionately like the Irish in the music and in their storytelling.
Yeah.
Um, because I think that's just such a beautiful thing, because then it's like you're telling people stories throughout, and so it's like you're bringing to mind again and remembrance, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, super cool.
Yeah, Ireland is very connected to its nature, um, and especially in the country areas, and around, the coastlines um, and even in the country areas inland as well. There's so many castles, so many ring forts, so many superstitions, so many, like they call them fairy forts, like literally, there's so many traditions and so many things. You're walking through the woods and you might come across a fairy fort and you're supposed to treat it with respect or you'll be cursed, that kind of thing. It's just all these kind of things make it a very magical place. And especially the countryside and the Gaeltacht areas as well that speak Irish. And Irish is being, it's I suppose everybody speaks English, but Ireland is spoken, Irish is spoken as well, Gaeilge, so um it's spoken more now, which is fantastic because we went through a long time where we weren't either allowed to speak it or it just didn't, people felt a bit inferior,
Hmm.
trying to speak their own language and whatever. It was just a mental thing, but there's a lot of people speaking Irish now. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, because we were talking about beautiful, what do you find really hard about life for you? What is something that is difficult?
Hmm. Gosh, that's a good question. Um, What do I find hard? Sometimes I find I'm a very tolerant person, and so I'm very I think it's the music as well. I'm very sensitive to people, and I
Yeah.
find it hard when people aren't sensitive to other people and who don't have the empathy towards other people.
Mm.
I find that hard to stomach. I find it very difficult. And then the Aries in me finds it hard to keep it in.
That's when you get fiery for justice, huh?
There's the Grania whale aspect of it coming out there. And so I can go, should probably, a little bit, and just kind of so I do find that hard sometimes. I find it hard. I find it very difficult. I get very upset with the things that are happening in the world at the moment. It's very awful, all the things that are happening at the moment abroad and here and everywhere. Um, and I guess, it's you're just hoping and praying that things will get better and that you'll make a slight difference in whatever you do, you know.
Yeah.
And I guess I find that hard sometimes, but you kind of have to, you have to rein it in, and you have to kind of harness your brain and harness your mind, and you have to understand that you cannot control everything,
Yeah.
and that you can't control other people's cruelty. You can't control other people's the way they want to behave towards other people. You can't let it eat in on you, and that's hard. That's very hard. And I suppose that's the hardest thing I find.
Well, I would think too, you probably have come across, even if you were going to go on more of a smaller scale for your life, I'm sure you've come across because your industry is tough on people, so I would think you've come across even instances personally where you did not receive the empathy and the understanding you wish you had.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That doesn't bother me as much as other people not receiving it, funnily
Huh,
enough.
okay.
Yeah, I don't care about not that I don't care about myself. It actually doesn't really affect me that much, weirdly. Because I'm quite feisty like that. I just go, okay, whatever. I don't care. I don't care what you think,
I'll write a tune about you someday now.
Exactly. Do a Taylor on it. And but like I just think you have to kind of um yeah, that actually hasn't bothered me as much. And I'm kind of quite good at being very polite and firm to people a little bit, but I find it hard though. I do find that hard too. I find it hard to put across in a firm way because the Irish are terrible like that. First of all, we'll start the sentence with sorry. And what are we sorry for? Seriously. Um, and then we'll go ahead and we'll dance around the subject, and we just won't kind of go bang, look, this is what I think. I just want you to do this. I don't want you to do that, and blah, blah, blah. And I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that all the time. I can't. I can't. And I dance around things. So I do find that hard. I do. But um, what makes me kind of talk out more in a more assertive way is if I see somebody else being kind of, you know, treated strangely, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. Well, what? I want to be, respectful of your time. I'll just ask one more question.
Oh, thank you.
What if you wrote an autobiography about your life? What do you think you'd call it?
Oh my gosh. That, no. Let me see. Um, that's a good question. There's a lovely tune, and I can't think of it. Why can't I think of it? Anyway, I think it's called "The Dance of the Fairies," and
Hmm.
it's a beautiful tune. But something like, I suppose, something that would be close to nature and kind of, would bring people on a journey. I love bringing people on a journey with my music, and and I love the fact that people are still following me from Celtic Woman and Lord and um, all the recordings that I've done with other people and composed for other people and different things. Um, I just I'm just so grateful for them. And I think that would probably be something close to nature, like maybe the song of the birds or something like that. Something like that, I think.
I mean, I hope you do write a book, but I know it's like you were saying that Irish are saying, sorry, and it's kind of hard. I have to be straightforward. I wonder if a book would be very hard to
Yeah. You
write
know,
all your feelings in it.
um, so I think, so many people have said you have to write a book. So many people have said that to me. And I went, listen, I can't write a book because I know so much about so many people. And I really do. I really do. And like, the amount of people I've met and who are really famous, and hung out with and different things. Um, and they're saying, "Oh, you should write a book." And I just wouldn't be able to because, I suppose I suppose it might be nice to kind of write maybe something music based or something that might touch people like that. Um, but I think people are more interested in the juicy bits.
And you're like, no, no, which is very wise, very wise.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just one of those things. I don't want to kind of, oh no, it's okay.
well, yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons too. I mean, that your music and also your personality attracts a lot of different people because that's not, you're not into that. It's like it's my music. That's what I want people to enjoy, and it's not about all these different things and my music.
Oh,
So
well, that's lovely to say, and thank you. Thank you so much. Um, I have to say, your voice and your speaking voice is so musical and so beautiful.
oh,
Has anyone
thank
told you
you.
that? It's such a, because people say to me about my voice as well, but I love the sound of your voice. It's very sonic. It's very beautiful.
Hopefully it's not just the microphone.
No, no, no. So it's really lovely, and so I'm sure your listeners appreciate that.
Well, Murray, thank you so much. And this has been an honor for me. And whenever you can, come to DC, ask your agent if you can come.
I'd love that, and we have to meet up when I do. And thank you so much for having me on your show. And I just loved every minute. Thanks a million.
You're welcome. Bye, Murray.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.